What happened there, Dad?
Well, when I got to the Bronx, where the railroad stopped, New York, New Haven, Harper Railroad, I drove down. When I got there, they had stolen all the wheels off the trailer, so I couldn't make a delivery. It was salted sea clam chowder, first load, but the guys in the Bronx stole all the wheel tires off the trailer. So I had to get new rims and tires before I could make a delivery. But I was making news because it was the first rail car with a trailer on it, flat car.
Rail pig, yeah.
And I used another flatbed trailer as a ramp, a temporary ramp, down to Yacht 17, track 31.
Yeah.
How did you make? How did you use the wine press? What did you do with it?
Huh?
The wine press. What did you do? How did you make a?
No, wine jack.
Oh, wine jack.
To hold the trailer up. But I also noticed the weakness. The cross members of the trailer bent, and the rear doors flung open, so we had to wire them closed because the vibration of the trailer, crane of the train, vibrated the trailer so much that they only had a single lock on the back of the trailers and it didn't hold. And then the wine jack, the load, salty sea clam chowder was pretty heavy, even though it was only a single axle trailer. You know, I think, what was the biggest trailer, 32 foot at the time?
Back then, probably, yeah.
And I noticed that the fifth wheel beams coming across bent, although it didn't collapse, but it could have. But before I made another load, I had to reinforce the next trailer with 2 locks, and then a bar across it to keep the doors from flinging open. But the first load was salty sea clam chowder. I'll never forget that, from Fox Point.
You put the wine press underneath the fifth wheel of the trailer.
The jack. The press or the jack?
It's jack, I guess. I think it was a press, really, but.
No, it was a wine jack. My grandfather used to squeeze grapes to make wine.
So it's a press.
What?
It's a press?
You put it underneath the fifth wheel plate.
Yeah.
To keep the trailer from tipping forward.
Right.
So he used to make wine with that? The same wine?
He did until he died. 798 Plainfield Street, Providence. He had a wine press in the back and made his own.
You talking about Grandpa?
Yeah.
Your father. Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
My father didn't do it.
His grandpa.
Your father.
No.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather.
I didn't know he came to the United States.
Oh, yeah, Giuseppe.
I didn't know he was here. I
Giuseppe,
thought Grandpa was the only one that made it.
No,
out of 8 kids.
Yeah.
No, his mother's father. Giuseppe Bianco.
Giuseppe Bianco.
Oh, Rose's father, yes, because she was second generation. That's right. That's right. Okay.
And the farmers used to drive up to Plainfield Street, and it used to be awkward because then there were streetcars in the street, and there were streetcar tracks in the front. So when he backed in, the farmers come in with their trucks. There was only single axle trucks then, with their grapes, so that Grandpa could squeeze more grapes to make wine. And then he got to be pretty good at it because some other wine dealers in Silver Lake kept changing the formula. I remember that, on how to make the wine or how to ferment it, after they squeezed it. And I remember the farmers that brought in the grapes, some of them. I remember one of his name was Zampa. had problems because we
Zampa.
put.
That was his
Yeah.
wife's name.
I just remember that. That's all. It stuck
That-
in my mind. All these
He
years.
married Madeline Zampa.
Huh?
Giuseppe Bianco married Madeline Zampa.
Yeah, I know. But one of the farmers
Oh.
was a Zampa,
Okay.
and he.
You don't hear about that name anymore. Zampa.
No, but he
It almost sounds
he
Greek.
stopped the streetcar from going over the tracks because part of his truck was blocking it, and that was a big hoopla then, because the streetcar was loaded with passengers, you know, coming from downtown Providence, and that's how we got to Silver Lake with the streetcar, you know, on tracks, and. It was very popular. The streetcar transport was anyway.
What? You know.
And there was no more tracks in Silver Lake, just the one coming up in Plainfield Street, going to Situate or wherever it was going, leading to, the Plainfield Pike.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was very popular.
What?
But I remember one day the hoopla, because he was blocking the tracks. And the police showed up and all kinds of commotion. And then I remember the neighbors of ours living in a 3-story house came down, and she complained also because there was too much noise coming out of the wine cellar. You know, too much. Well, it was popular. That's where I should put it. It was popular. He had one of the best going wine jacks or wine cellars that produced pure wine that they were able to sell, I guess. But I remember one day I was out there, and the innocent kid, looking at the confusion, because I lived up above them. You know, we lived on the 3rd floor then. And then we were able to move down to the 2nd floor. I remember that. But then my mother and my father got disgruntled with living with all the Bianco relatives. So we bought a place up in New Connecticut Hill. And here we had all the necessities in the house. When we moved up to New Connecticut Hill, we had a toilet outside.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to use a toilet outside. But we bought the house. My father made had a garden all around it, and it turned
And the
out
radio
pretty good.
station bought it.
Yeah, and then I finally I got a model. I had already got permission, 16 years old I think it was, to run a Model T Ford, and we had that for transportation. But I always got work. In the morning I delivered papers, and then at night I delivered morning paper. In those days there was no evening paper, there was just one paper. And then they became 2 papers, and then it went back to just one. But now, is it 2 papers now?
Well,
Providence Journal.
Journal just got sold again last week.
Yeah.
They're going to dismantle it, I think.